Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Evan Mion. Today I'm joined by Connor
Hey guys.
and Mike.
Hello.
And Connor had a sort of fun idea for today's episode.
That I stole wholesale from the Besties podcast.
Nevertheless, it was a fun idea. And what we have in front of us is a sort of tournament bracket of all major Mario titles, both 2D and 3D. And we're going to pit them against each other, discuss their strengths, weaknesses, and ultimately crown a winner for, I guess, best overall Mario game.
Yeah.
And a little preface before we get into this. Like I've said before, many times on the show, my first video game ever was Super Mario 64. And me being the dunce that I am, I never went back before that point and experienced the great games that came before on NES and SNES. So as a result, I really only have experience with 3D Marios.
So you played New Super Mario Bros. Even?
No.
Wow. Okay. So you haven't played any 2D Mario.
I mean, I've messed around with them, but I've never played with them to completion or enough to have like a valid opinion, I think. But that being said, Connor and Mike both are very well versed in 2D Mario, and I can absolutely give my input when it comes to 3D Mario. So this should be a fun discussion, and I'm sure we'll make someone mad, just because I think.
Oh yeah, no matter
what
way people
wins,
are gonna agree.
it'll-
A lot of these, like eventually, I feel like we're gonna have Mario 3 versus Super Mario World, and like that's just not. You can't objectively compare those two games. They're both absolute masterpieces for different reasons. So
yeah, and just like Mario in general, like Mario's the most.
yeah, if I'm being honest, there's not a
game,
bad game
really.
on this. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's not a bad game on this bracket.
So yeah, I don't know. I think this is a fun idea. Maybe we can apply it to some other series in the future, but like.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
definitely
it's tough to find
appropriate.
a series with 16 games.
Well,
but,
the Zelda comes to mind too, but
yeah, Zelda is what the Besties are doing that I stole it from.
but yeah, I think it's fitting to kick off this style of episode with Mario.
Yeah.
So why don't we just jump right into it?
Well, I kind of want to describe the bracket a little bit.
Okay, yeah, go.
Until the finals, we will not have a 3D game versus a 2D game because I kind of felt like it would be interesting. We talked previously about like doing a 2D Mario episode ranking like we've done before and a 3D Mario ranking. And I think this kind of knocks both of those out as well because all the 3D games will compete to get into the finals and all the 2D games will compete to get into the finals. Right. And then we will decide which is superior, 2D Mario or 3D Mario.
We will be the arbiters of that. And also, I'm not going to make a promise, but I will try to get this image in the podcast description. Never tried that before, so I don't know if that's possible. But if it is, you'll be able to follow along the bracket with us.
All right. So this is not randomly seeded. I kind of put games that I thought like would be interesting to compare against each other in the first round. Because I think the finals are inherently interesting. So
yeah, like this first round is going to be a bloodbath. Just looking at the bracket.
So and what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate between 2D and 3D because I don't want one of you to have to like sit out for a long period of time with nothing. So anyway, let's dive into it. Our first round is Super Mario Bros. Versus Super Mario Land. So Super Mario Land, I guess, is a little more obscure. Maybe it was a launch title for the Game Boy. And it was actually made by a different team and everything. It was made by the Game Boy team, like the hardware team. And it's a little janky, but so is Super Mario Bros. So this is it's an interesting one.
On my opinion on this, I feel like Super Mario Bros. Being the OG, it kind of automatically wins this.
So I have somewhat of an opinion too. I have played Super Mario Bros. On virtual consoles here and there. But not Super Mario Land. But I agree with Mike, even though I haven't played Mario Land, Super Mario Bros. Was the first. So I feel like it has some cred there.
So I'm not going to give Super Mario Bros. Any points for being first, personally. But it is my vote. I'm going to go Super Mario Bros. But in defense of Super Mario Land, it is, in my opinion, a far more interesting game than Super Mario Bros. It actually has like... weirdly enough, because it's on the Game Boy, it actually has a kind of diverse palette like of different tiles and things, and you like explore a little place. It's a much shorter game, but It actually has like a plane section where you fly, and it's like a shoot 'em up for a little bit. It's
Yeah.
very, or not quite a bullet hell, but it's like a side-scrolling shooter type deal.
That's never thought I'd hear that in a Mario game.
It's just bananas, yeah. And I respect it for that, but I think that the collisions and stuff are janky enough that I really can't say that I have more fun playing it than I do Super Mario Bros. So round 1, Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep track of these in a little text document. Any objections to that?
Nope.
No.
Nope. That's
Okay,
all good.
Round 2, Super Mario 64 versus Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Okay, so this is okay. So I feel wholeheartedly that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is a better game, but Super Mario 64 definitely means a lot more to me personally.
See,
And-
I
and Super Mario
gotta go Super
64.
Mario 64.
What's that?
I gotta go Super Mario 64 myself.
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy 2 has like next to no replayability for me.
And with Super Mario 64 as well, I mean, credit has to be given where it's due. It is the thing that ushered us in really into the era of 3D video games.
Yeah.
I mean, like there were some games here and there, right? But like Super Mario 64 really sort of blew everyone's mind and opened their eyes to what was really possible now. It redefined what a video game was. Like
Yeah,
straight
I
up.
think the real question here is like, now I'm gonna throw a word out here that you're not gonna love probably, but do you like the worst of Collectathon Mario, like the worst controlling probably of Collectathon Mario, which is still an amazing game. I know worst is a hard word to say with Super Mario 64, or would you prefer a pretty good course clear Mario in Super Mario Galaxy 2? And I definitely prefer the Collectathon style to Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
We'll get into it in a bit, but Galaxy kind of mixed in the Collectathon with the course clear, whereas Galaxy 2 was almost entirely course clear.
I'm kind of basing my opinion on this one with the effects they had at large on Mario. And I think Mario 64 really was more influential on the entire series than Galaxy 2 was.
It absolutely.
See, I don't know if
was.
I agree with that necessarily, because Galaxy 2 is when they figured out how to do course clear Mario in 3D, really. With Galaxy
Yeah,
and
but
Galaxy 2.
64 was the first time they figured out how to do 3D Mario. you know?
Yeah.
Well, right, but they're both massive refinements. Like they're both 3D Mario, but they're totally different takes on it. And Galaxy 2 were the first real takes on course clear Mario in 3D.
Yeah, and like it is tough, I think, because I do think Super Mario Galaxy 2 is an immaculate game. And if we were like, and it's tough, right? Because if we were strictly going by the quality of the game, I would probably say Galaxy 2 wins for me. But 64 is just too special of a video game, in my opinion.
See, Galaxy 2 loses points for me for being a somewhat bland sequel to Galaxy 1, in my
Is
opinion.
I feel like that's a hot take.
It cuts
Yeah.
a lot of charm, I think. Galaxy 2 is a largely charmless game compared to Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
The charm in Galaxy 1 comes from the beautiful hub world that evolves as you play, right?
It's not just the hub world, though. It's also like things like Beach Bowl Galaxy and Honey Hive Galaxy, these levels that you actually spend some time in and explore. Galaxy 2 is not interested in that at all. Galaxy 2 is you run through this level and you never see it again.
Yeah, I think Galaxy 2 really, like, I almost forgot about it.
Right. Nintendo did.
Yeah, Nintendo did. I think a lot of people forgot about Galaxy 2 because it wasn't as interesting as Galaxy 1.
Right. And so it loses this matchup easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in agreement here. I just don't want to, like, I feel like credit has to be given to Galaxy 2 where it's due. I do think Galaxy 2 is an incredible game, personally.
I do too. I mean,
But,
every game on this list is incredible. So.
Yeah, but like, I mean, Galaxy 2 even, I don't know, like, personally to me, I think it's special even in this tier of like high tier Mario games. But
Yeah.
no, regardless, 64 I think is the winner.
All right.
Yeah.
Next matchup, we're moving over to the new. I kind of in order to get this to a clean 16 games, I consolidated all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games into one, which I think you'd be hard pressed to argue against, honestly.
Yeah, they're all the same game.
Because New Super Mario Bros. 1 holds the best place for me, but I think New Super Mario Bros. Wii introduces the multiplayer and all. And so I think it's really fair to include all of those good things that were added later into just the series. So it's that against Super Mario Bros. 2. And when I say Super Mario Bros. 2, I do mean Doki Doki Panic, Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
USA.
Okay. So this one's clear. Super Mario Bros. 2 was kind of jank.
Yeah,
I'd say
okay,
New
so
Super
I've
Mario
revisited
Bros.
Super Mario Bros. 2 recently, and I like it a lot more than I thought I did. But I still gotta hand it to New Super Mario
Yeah.
Bros. On this one.
Doki Doki Panic is kind of just weird. Honestly, I would have pitted this against the Lost Levels more.
Right. Yeah, well, the Lost Levels is just more Mario 1.
Yeah, it's
So
just more Mario 1. Which is
Yeah,
what
I
everyone wanted.
include the Lost Levels in Mario 1 in this case. That's maybe a hot take from my American brain, but
Yeah, it's a great game, but it just felt like a game that they just slapped the Mario aesthetic over and called it a day.
yeah, and I kind of pitted the New Super Mario Bros. Against it because I wanted New Super Mario Bros. To get past the first round. Because I think it gets a bad rap for the later games when the first one was really a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
I want
the
to
first one
offer
was good.
I want to offer perhaps an uninformed opinion, but my gut feeling is that the new Super Mario Bros. Games, while good, right? Like they don't capture really the same magic as the original Mario Bros. Games, like Super Mario Bros. 1 through 3, right? Because I mean, aren't they essentially just doing what those games did, but
See,
with better graphics?
That's true now, but well, none of them try to capture what Super Mario Bros. 2 did because Super Mario Bros. 2 is very much a black sheep in the Mario
Okay.
franchise. You can like pick stuff up by standing on it and stuff, and you don't kill enemies by jumping on them, and it's a weird game. It's also weirdly a little more exploratory than most Mario games.
That's interesting.
2D ones at least. But New Super Mario Bros. When it came out, I remember being really excited because I think the only 2D Mario game I had played is Super Mario World, and this was the first time I'd ever seen more of it. And like then New Super Mario Bros. Wii being the first time Mario had multiplayer, like that you could play with your friends at the same time, that was huge. And that had never been done before. Like these games were not without innovation at all. But they did get extremely fatigued doing the same, like, oh, this is the grass world, this is the desert world, this is the ice world, this is the island world, like that is exhausting.
Yeah, and Super Mario Bros. U, the whole series, at least the original one, was released a decade after the last 2D Mario.
Right, yeah. So it had been a long time. It was also like the first. Well, no, the last 2D Mario before it, I think, was Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and so it is interesting.
Before that was Yoshi's Island.
Huh?
1995, Yoshi's Island launched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
All
it was
right,
about
yeah.
a decade.
Okay, but still, yeah. I got to give it to New Soup.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Shall we move to the
Yeah.
3D side?
This one's another interesting one in my opinion. Super Mario Sunshine versus Super Mario 3D World, and these games could not be more different, I don't think, as far as like being on the 3D side of Mario. Like Sunshine is very much the immersive exploratory game, and 3D World is absolutely the opposite of that.
Level clear Mario.
Level clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have very firm opinions on this, so I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
I having just played, I hated 3D World when it came out, largely because I wanted something like, it was fresh off the heels of Galaxy 2 kind of, which was disappointing for me compared to Galaxy 1. And then they kind of even moved farther in that direction away from Collectathon Mario. And so 3D World, to me, when it came out, I was just disappointed because it wasn't what I wanted. But now that we have Odyssey still kind of fresh on the brain and Bowser's Fury very fresh on the brain, doing a 3D World playthrough, that game is immaculate. every level is extremely fun. There's like one stinker in the entire game. Super fun to play with friends. Now that it has online multiplayer too, it's the only game on this list that has functional online multiplayer.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge plus.
And despite all that, I'm giving it to Sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm
Sunshine
100% in the Sunshine camp. I think still to this day, Sunshine has like this atmosphere that hasn't been captured by any other Mario game.
Yeah, so that
I
kind
would
of,
argue.
I think this, more than any other matchup on this list, kind of shows where I lean and where like objectivity goes out the window. Because, 3D World it's a bigger game. It's like, it's probably even more fun, quote unquote, but like the way Sunshine makes me feel wins at this category, or wins at this matchup for me.
Yeah,
easily.
Sunshine is very much a game. It stands out. Like you look at any Mario game and you just see Sunshine, you can pick it out easily.
Yeah.
It's
because of Mario's short sleeves. You see his
you see his arms. It's
Yeah,
very aesthetically pleasing too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and
talked
it's
about
just like Nintendo never again really built a world as realized as Delfino Island.
Yeah.
Not in Mario, I mean.
in Mario, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, and also like it bears mentioning that the way like they implemented FLUDD and how they using FLUDD changed Mario's mechanics, and that sort of thing never really, I mean, they have like Cappy and Odyssey and stuff, but like I would argue that the mechanics didn't shift as radically as they did ever since the transition from 64 to Sunshine.
Right.
You had like a
I've
glide, you had like a super slide, and it really sort of changed the way you played this game, like compared to other 3D Marios.
Yeah. However, I will say 3D World is worth 100%ing. Sunshine is not. Sunshine sucks to 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we can safely hand this one to Sunshine.
absolutely. Yep.
All right. This is a doozy, I think, this next one. Super Mario Bros. 3 versus Yoshi's Island. And I will say Super Mario Bros. 3 is probably the first time they really, really, really nailed 2D Mario, in my opinion. Like when it first was fully realized. And then Yoshi's Island was like they finished it and said, all right, we did it. They didn't do it for another 10 years because they thought they got it so right, So what do you think, Mike?
I think Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island's one of those that still captures my eye even today after having beaten it.
So yeah, artistically Yoshi's Island I think wins, but I have to go Super Mario Bros. 3. I play that game constantly to this day. I love Super Mario Bros. 3.
Like Yoshi's Island's fun. The mechanics are fun. Everything works out. The levels are very
It's another
unique.
kind of exploratory game too.
Yeah. The levels are all like each world feels stylistically different.
Right. And they it's almost weird to include it on this list because Yoshi did later get his own games. But it is called Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Although I guess by that object, But Yoshi's later games that took after Yoshi's Island were also incredible.
Yeah, I feel like Yoshi's Island was a good start for a new series.
Yeah, but
And-
it still feels like Mario.
It feels like Mario.
Yeah.
I also, my favorite part about Yoshi's Island was every world felt stylistically different. You'd go, say, to a jungle world and there'd be water. Then the next
and they
world would all
weren't,
be really dark and spooky and whatever.
It also wasn't the worlds we're used to in Mario.
Yeah.
And Mario 3 is guilty of those worlds, but it was also the first to do it. So I don't fault it for that. I Super Mario Bros. 3, Yoshi's Island is a super fun game to play through, but Super Mario Bros. 3 I could play through. I mean, for a while there when I was in college, I was just beating it once a day. I was just playing through it after classes were over with because I could knock it out in like half an hour or something. And I loved every minute of it. Amit, have you played either of these?
I have not, but I will say, just from an outsider's perspective, even I'm aware of how legendary Super Mario Bros. 3 is.
Yeah, I want to move Super Mario Bros. 3 forward. I think you have to be the tie-breaking vote here, Amit. I hate to put that on you.
I hate to put it.
Well, I mean,
games.
this sucks because like I'm very uninformed, but You know, I
I
know.
mean, Super Mario Bros. 3 laid the groundwork.
Right. No, I mean, I'm aware of how influential of a game Super Mario Bros. 3 is, so I'll have to go with that. Personally, I really know next to nothing about Yoshi's Island, so
It's an
I'm
incredible game, and you should play it.
It's
Yeah,
very good.
yeah, I don't want to do it dirty, but my vote is going to Super Mario Bros. 3.
Okay. Back into the 3D corner.
Oh,
Super
no.
Mario Galaxy against Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay, so
This
this
is
is the
actually-
toughest one. This is the toughest one for me.
extremely hard for me to pick.
I actually don't even know right now. I think we'll have to like hash this out in
Yeah?
discussion
Okay,
because I
so
really don't
let's-
know which to pick right now.
Super Mario Galaxy, let's look at what it does better than Odyssey, because there are a few things, I think. Super
I think-
Mario Galaxy does a better job of having a consistent universe.
Yes, the atmosphere in Galaxy is next to
It's immaculate.
It's untouchable. The only thing that surpasses it is Sunshine, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
but,
Rosalina is an extremely interesting character who first appeared here. Introduction to Captain Toad, can't ignore that. Pretty,
just the sheer creativity, like it's creativity on steroids. This game, like every second of it oozes with just like fresh
You can
ideas.
say the exact same thing about Odyssey.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like I feel like Galaxy is more creative than Odyssey.
Really?
I kind of, now that I think about it, I think it is.
Yeah, I'll say
But-
Odyssey. Odyssey misses out for me as far as Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Odyssey both try to mix Course Clear Mario with Collectathon Mario. Galaxy succeeds at it. Odyssey has you go through a door and suddenly you're in like this blank void where you do some platforming. I don't like that.
So that's kind of like the Sunshine model, right? Like Sunshine did that too.
Yeah, I don't like that in
But-
Sunshine either. It's
but
the worst
here's the
part of
thing.
Sunshine.
Okay, so we sound very in favor of Galaxy right now, so let me bring it back. Odyssey's mechanics, though.
Yeah, Mario has never felt better.
Yes,
than in Super
Odyssey is
Mario
the best feeling Mario game, period.
Yeah, and
It's
like
one of, if not the best mechanical 3D platformers ever.
if I was gonna pick one of these games for them to release more of right now, I would pick Odyssey.
And God, it's so tough. I mean, like, it's a little silly, right? Did Galaxy run at 60 FPS?
I have no idea. It felt like 60 FPS when I
Okay.
played it recently.
I mean, I know Odyssey did, but
Yeah.
just so ignoring the performance, I guess, like if we go into like art style, we know Galaxy has that cohesive art style. Odyssey's all over the place, but I kind of like that too. Like
yeah,
one level could, be a prehistoric jungle. Another level could look like it's out of Dark Souls. Another level looks like the middle of a New York City. Like very different art styles, but it's just this.
yeah, but then there's the
this
fact
journey.
that every area of Galaxy is made with like intent and feels extremely finished,
Yeah.
whereas there are two entire kingdoms in Mario Odyssey that have nothing in them.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
But I gotta go Odyssey still, I think, just because. And a part of this may be just how recently I played it, but I was grinning ear to ear the whole time I played through it, Galaxy has a couple of like real stinkers that break it up, like every time you have to use the motion controls, like
I do want to say, like, I guess a point in favor of Odyssey. There was no moment in Galaxy that hit me like Jump Up Superstar did in Odyssey.
right.
That was
And,
an incredible
I
moment.
I don't know if everybody else agrees with this, but well, okay. The climax is comparable. But no moment in Galaxy hits as hard as controlling Bowser. Spoilers
mean-
for Odyssey,
you-
I guess.
Yeah, you mean Odyssey? You said Galaxy, right?
No moment in Galaxy hits as hard as controlling.
Okay,
Bowser
okay,
in
yeah.
Odyssey.
No,
And-
yeah, that was a great twist on like a finale of a Mario game. And like another aspect, if we're comparing literally everything, the music, right? Like Galaxy
Oh God,
is very
that's
nice.
hard. That's so hard to compare.
Galaxy has
between those.
wonderful orchestral sweeping themes, but Odyssey has, some of those orchestral themes as well, in addition to like these really good like voiced tracks, namely Jump Up Superstar, right? Like that sort of became the theme of Mario, like ever since that came out, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
but like the music, it's so, I mean, it's so excellent in both games, but and so different in both games. It's so tough to compare.
I do have to say, okay, so here's where I'll really lay it out why I think Odyssey is going to win this for me, though. Both games I thought were worth 100%ing, but when I did it in Odyssey, there was a lot of like quote unquote repeat content, but it was at least short and in different places.
Right. There were
Whereas
like 900
100% Super Mario
right?
Galaxy, you literally just play the game a second time, but as Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks. That was really boring, but I did it.
Yeah.
So I got to go Odyssey personally.
What do you think, Mike? You've been kind of quiet for this one.
I haven't played either of them.
Oh, okay.
What?
Never mind then.
Yeah,
These are
biased.
two. These are probably okay. So, just throwing this out there, in my opinion, I think quality-wise, these are the two best Mario games, in my opinion, of that I've played. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I think that's hard to say. I think I don't know if I would agree with that. I think
Well, you've also played way more than me, so
yeah. Well, I'm even only thinking about 3D Mario.
yeah. No, I think like obviously 64 is a very special place in my heart, but like in terms of just like how good the games are, I think Galaxy and Odyssey are untouchable. But that being said, when all's considered, and maybe, recency bias has a little to do with this, but I guess I'll throw my vote to Odyssey.
I think recency bias did help me pick Odyssey as well, but I think it's the right call still.
It's very tough. Like this is like a fraction of a percentage if I were to
Yeah,
differentiate that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go with Odyssey.
All right. Next up, Super Mario World and Super Mario Land 2: The Six Golden Coins.
Was
This
that an
one-
RPG?
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, you're thinking of Mario and Luigi, I think. Superstar Saga. But Super Mario Land, so Super Mario World, iconic Mario game on the Super NES. Have you played it, Ahmed, at all?
Nope, I have not.
So, Mike, you have, right?
Yes, I have.
Amazing game. I think it does some really interesting stuff with the structure of a Mario game, which is why I pitted it against Super Mario Land 2, which is a Game Boy game, and it actually is entirely non-linear. You can go to any world in Super Mario Land 2 in any order you want, and it's actually an extremely good game. It has its own like very diverse set of power-ups, like the bunny ears and stuff. And you're fighting against Wario the whole time. I think this was Wario's introduction.
I think yes, Land was.
Land was? Okay.
Yeah.
And Wario has taken over Mario's castle, which is like a nonsense story, but I guess a plumber has a castle here. and it has like the weirdest levels. Like I think this was Mario's first trip into space. He goes to space in Super Mario Land 2. And there are a couple of levels up in space on the moon and stuff. There is a giant robot Mario that a couple of levels take place inside of. There is a house where Mario is like the size of a mouse compared to the house, and you're jumping around. It's just an extremely inventive game. Whereas Super Mario World, maybe a little less so, but Super Mario World, I mean, God, what do you even say about Super Mario World? It has the cape power up. It introduces Yoshi. I mean, goodness gracious. It a little bit of non-linearity to it. Couple of divergent paths and things. I've beaten Super Mario World, but I have not actually played through it in the intended way. I don't think I played it. Super Mario World was my first video game ever, and I beat it as a kid, not realizing that I had taken like a weird shortcut and cut around like over half of the game.
Yeah, World was honestly I never played Land 2, but I think World was more influential on Mario as a whole.
Yeah, this was tough because Super Mario Land 2 deserves better, but World definitely is the winner here. I think Land 2 got rid of the jank from Super Mario Land, and it's one of the best Game Boy games, I think, of all time. I actually played it. I played it through within the past year, I believe. I got into Game Boy development, and this was one of the games I was looking at for reference. It has beautiful sprite work and everything, but Super Mario World beats it on that front. Super Mario World is just incredible all the way through. Every boss is interesting. It has the Koopa Kids. It has the weird rhino things. A little less inventive with its setting, I would say. Dinosaur Island, it kind of trades off the wackiness of Super Mario Land 2 for more consistency. All the levels kind of make sense in the context of Dinosaur Island, which I think is actually great, but you do lose the ability to have a gigantic robot Mario in that trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything to add, but again, I know how lauded Super Mario World is, so.
Yeah. And now we'll throw it over to Bowser's Fury and Super Mario 3D Land.
So this is the last, matchup
3D.
of round 1.
Yeah, this is the last of round 1, and this is the last of the 3D games. So I think I kind of did Super Mario 3D Land dirty here because it's a very good game, but Bowser's Fury is just ridiculously good. 3D Land didn't stand a chance here.
Honestly, I played 3D Land and I didn't really enjoy it. It just felt too easy.
Did you play the 8 special worlds you get after beating it?
I think I played through 1.
Okay, because it gets a lot harder, but never gets as hard as 3D World for sure towards the end.
Yeah, I have to admit here, I actually haven't played either one of these games, so.
Well, I'll just let you guys know it's Bowser's Fury.
Yeah,
but in defense of 3D Land, I thought 3D Land was really cool. 3D Land was the first time that they straight up just said, this is a course clear Mario. It's basically 2D, but it's in 3D. And it's called Land because it's supposed to be like a shout out to the Super Mario Land games since it was on the 3DS. You'll never guess why it's called 3D. But it also, it had a lot of references to Super Mario Bros. 3 as well. The Tanuki suit was a big deal in this game. But really, it was just a good time. I thought it was the first time an original 3D Mario really came into its own on a handheld, which I thought was crazy. And it still holds up today. I played through it pretty recently and had a very good time. It obviously loses out on the multiplayer and the more grandiose stuff that's in 3D World. But it's an extremely good blueprint for Course Clear Mario in 3D.
Yeah.
And it also, I loved it when it came out because I wasn't expecting a Collectathon Mario on 3DS, Although they definitely could have done it. It's not what I was expecting. Then Bowser's Fury comes out.
To speak a little about Bowser's Fury. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Bowser's Fury comes out and blows all of us away. I definitely didn't know what to expect when Bowser's Fury came out. When I found out it was like an open world, 3D world, everybody's saying it. Bowser's Fury is the future of Mario and even the future of Nintendo stuff, being able to recycle all these assets from Super Mario 3D World, but then make a game that is so vastly different from it while playing the same. It's just so hard to explain, but it's just a masterpiece. Bowser's Fury, I played through the entire thing in one sitting. It's fairly short, but I loved every single second of it. It was just so good. It was, I really had to suck the marrow out of that one.
Suck the Mario out of that one.
Good.
See myself out.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give that one to Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, I agree.
Am I the only one who's played Bowser's Fury?
I think so.
Okay, I'm confident
fully
in my choice.
I fully intend on playing it soon.
You need to. It's a good game, but it has some humor that is better than Mario's ever had humor. I don't think I've ever laughed out loud at a Mario game before Bowser's Fury.
I don't know, man. The Paper Mario games definitely made me laugh.
Oh yeah, I'm not counting that. Those for sure have excellent comedy. But they have writers.
Right. We're strictly talking traditional Mario games here. So
yeah.
That's why maybe dude, honestly, there's so many Mario spin-offs. We could do another one of these brackets with just like the offshoot games.
Yeah, no, those are somewhat like what am I supposed to compare Paper Mario and Mario Party though? I don't think that makes sense
Yeah,
really.
true, yeah.
I don't know. That was ruder. That came out ruder than I meant for it to. But my point stands. I'm
Round
excited
two?
for this next one. So we're moving into the
Round
second
two.
round here.
Yeah.
The semifinals.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah,
Some might say.
quarterfinals. Yeah, well, some would, I'm sure. First round, another one that I don't think is too hard. We have Super Mario Bros. Versus New Super Mario Bros. And I'm throwing my hat into the ring right off the bat for New Super Mario Bros. Love the original.
Didn't Super
Love-
Mario Bros. 2 win? Or am I misremembering?
You're Mr.
Super Mario Bros. 2 didn't win.
Okay.
No,
never
yeah,
mind.
New Soup one. I wrote them all down as we were going.
Okay.
So we are now Super Mario Bros. Versus New Soup. New Soup has to win for me. Super Mario
Yeah.
Bros. Obviously gets point, for being the first, and it's incredible. But I firmly believe that if you sit down and tell me that Super Mario Bros. Is your favorite game of all time, you either haven't played very many games or have extremely weird tastes. Whereas if somebody told me that about New Super Mario Bros., I'd be like, all right, I kind of get it. Like, there's enough there that it's not like extremely restricted like the first Mario is.
Yeah.
Any
No objections here.
Yeah, I don't have any objections.
all right, that was easy.
Now this next one though.
This next one's not so I did kind of I had you may notice as we move on that I've had some thoughts about who would move forward and how I wanted to pit them against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So Super Mario 64 versus Super Mario Sunshine.
So this is very, very tough.
Yeah.
I will though, however, I will make the case for Super Mario 64.
I was hoping you would because I am firmly in the Sunshine camp.
Okay, so yes, I think Sunshine is great. I think obviously like it's one of the best games ever, like as many of these games are. But 64, just in combination with the fact that it broke so much new ground, it's just it's so creative. The whole painting motif. Like I think back to that and just finding new things to jump through, nooks and crannies to explore, a wall that you thought was a wall wasn't actually a wall and was a painting that gave way to a whole new level. It had that exploratory nature that I think Sunshine sort of lacks. And granted, I think Sunshine beats it out in terms of atmosphere, but I think in terms of like the actual fun factor, 64 is better.
Yeah, I agree with you and on a lot of that, but I can't agree that the fun factor in 64 is better.
Yeah, I feel like Sunshine had Flood introduced enough cool mechanics that the world became a lot more open.
And the controls are so much people will get mad at me about this because it doesn't have the long jump, but I think you were very hard pressed to play 64 and Sunshine back to back and honestly tell me that you like the controls more in 64.
No, you're absolutely right. The controls in Sunshine are better, and I've learned this firsthand when I played the 3D collection on Switch. The Sunshine controls are absolutely better. But what does Sunshine offer an experience that matches just being dropped into Peach's courtyard for the first time and running around? Like,
yeah.
How revolutionary.
Played,
just that simple action is such a statement.
If you
such
hadn't
a statement
played 64
that says
first, though, it totally matches it.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
I
yeah,
played Sunshine first, and being dropped into Delfino Plaza, which is for the time a big world, it's free. It felt really good.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, if you reverse the order, like it would be the same, but I do think the order matters. Like I think 64 is special largely because of when it came out, right? Like and what it did for the gaming industry as well.
Yeah, I will also say point to 64 for 100% ability. I've been bringing that up on a lot of these. I have 100%ed Super Mario 64 and Super Mario 64 DS. I never intend 100% Super Mario Sunshine. It is a tedious
Yeah,
chore.
I'm right there with you. I
And,
have 100%ed 64, have not 100%ed Sunshine. And I will say, in terms of speed running, I don't speed run either games, but I watch speed runs of these games, and the 64 speed runs are so much more entertaining to me.
the 64 speedruns are more interesting, but I like the Sunshine ones more because I just like looking at Super Mario Sunshine. I just like that
It's
world
very nice
so
to look
much.
at. Yes.
It's so good. And also, the GameCube just did water right. Uh,
Between Wind Waker and this game.
yeah, they knew what they were doing. There's a reason they called it Project Dolphin internally.
Yeah.
Um, but
So
like,
it sounds like I'm going to get outvoted here, but I definitely.
I'm
you-
still I'm a little on the edge. I really lean 64, but then there are the things like 64 or I'm leaning Sunshine rather. But there are the things in Sunshine that are just a little unfinished. Like Corona Mountain sucks. That level sucks irredeemably, and the boss fight isn't very good either. I hate that you just walk into like a conch shell or something and suddenly you're in space doing platforming. I don't like that. But I still got to give it to Sunshine. Sunshine is more replayable to me than Super Mario 64 because the barrier set up by the controls is so much smaller. And
Yeah, I mean, I won't disagree with that on the controls, but
that
like
tips the scales.
my vote isn't changing. I'm still voting for 64 just because it's in a historical context, it can't really be beat. It's so special.
God, it's
And
a good thing there's three of us.
yeah, and I mean, no, this is good. I mean, like both are immaculate games. It's very hard to choose. But like just and the nostalgia factor for me, and I know it's there for me, but it's there for so many other people too. The nostalgia factor of this being the first 3D Mario, the first real 3D game of consequence.
Yeah, it was for
The
sure
game
first
that
3D game I ever
changed
played.
gaming forever. Like
Actually,
that's not even hyperbole. I mean, like that's what it did.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And Sunshine did not change gaming forever.
no.
You could
I
kind
do
of take
think
Sunshine off the map and
Sunshine.
nothing changes.
It's interesting. I do think opinions of Sunshine have improved over time. What like I feel like when the game first came out, people compared it unfavorably to 64, but not so much anymore. Is that accurate?
I think it's complicated. I think it's just a really controversial title because I watch a lot of retrospective and review stuff on YouTube, and it's the common thing that people say about Sunshine is that they love it, but it's not as good as 64. Even though they like it more than 64, but they acknowledge that it's not as good a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really because of the blue coins mostly. Like that's most people's beef with this game is the blue coins.
Okay. Yeah.
But me and Mike we're both Sunshine.
Yeah, we're both Sunshine.
Okay.
Okay.
This one is a doozy for me. We are down to Super Mario Brothers 3 against Super Mario World. I mean, Ahmed, you've not played either of these, right?
Nope.
Mike, you've played both of them?
Played World and 2, or what was it?
3 and World.
3 and World? I'm gonna have to go. You know where I'm going with this. I liked World more than 3.
I like 3 more than World. This is tough.
All right. Both of you say your piece, and then I guess I'll decide.
Okay, 3 has the 3. I'm gonna pull did it first. 3 was the first Mario game to do a map, and that's super interesting. It also does some stuff with its map that I think is interesting, like climbing up the tower to get to the Cloud World and World 7, I think. World 6, I forget. Also, the aesthetic is awesome, and I really, really, really just like the way it feels. And that's super subjective because Super Mario World doesn't feel bad, but I just like the way 3 feels better.
I mean, I think we're just gonna forever disagree.
Yeah. So if you're not gonna make the case for World, I can help you out there. Super Mario
But
World.
for World,
Yeah.
it just like it did a lot of things really cool. Like, secrets. It was
Yeah.
also the first game to have a special world, wasn't it?
Yes.
So
Special
if you
World
didn't
was
find
really
the
good.
base game hard, they would all of a sudden hit you with, here's a world that's like 10 times as difficult.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And
Super Mario World is very good.
It was
And it also
punishing.
aesthetically, you have a strong argument that World looks nicer. I just
It
really like
looks
NES
nice.
graphics.
Like, I'm impressed at how good World looked.
Oh yeah,
Still
World
today.
World could come out tomorrow and look good.
Yeah.
You can't say that about 3. I'll give you that.
It's really one of those games that it's all up to flavor and kind of how you feel about it.
Yeah. World does not feel limited by the console it's on at all.
Yeah. No, World feels like it's what the developers intended to make.
Yeah.
Which is hard to say that about a lot of games now,
Yeah, it is.
but
So you're saying, okay, so let me get this straight. So you guys are saying that, or Connor's saying rather, that the gameplay in Super Mario Bros. 3 is superior. And Mike, do you dispute that or no?
I'd say the gameplay in World's just as good.
Okay. And you're both agreeing that the graphics slash art style slash world of Super Mario World is better than 3?
I'd say the world, yes. The graphics, it really depends on your tastes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um what about music? I know that's not really, we're not really considering that too
World.
much, but
Super Mario World has to win that one because Super Mario Bros. 3 really just doesn't have that many tracks in it, I don't think.
World's music's iconic, even to this day.
Yeah, people still listen to the athletic theme and stuff. Or is that
Okay.
from Yoshi's Island athletic theme, or is that Super Mario World?
Yoshi's
Ooh.
Island, I believe.
Yeah, I think it is Yoshi's Island now that I say it. Anyway, I know the song. I can hear the song in my head. That's from Super Mario World that I think of all the time. And the Game Over music. I listen to remixes of the Super Mario World Game Over music while I'm programming a lot of the time.
so right now I guess I'm leaning Super Mario World. But
yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, if you guys want to try and convince me otherwise, that's totally
World has
doable.
better bosses too, so I'm not gonna fight it. If I'm picking which one, like if I was gonna sit here and say that I could never play one again and I would only have the other, I would keep 3.
Yeah.
But I think for the sake of our bracket, I think World should be the one to move on.
Okay.
Yeah. I
We
do
got
agree.
We got another toughie coming up here. Super Mario Odyssey versus Super Mario Bowser's Fury.
So this is an interesting matchup because these are the two most current Mario games, right?
Yep.
So there
It's-
can be a lot of comparisons drawn between them. I do think, however, and granted, I have not played Bowser's Fury. I've seen a decent amount of gameplay, and I know about it, right? Like I've heard a lot about the mechanics and stuff. So that
Yeah.
being said, to take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I kind of want to back Odyssey here
Yeah.
because I think Odyssey is just at this point the quintessential 3D Mario experience.
Yeah, so Bowser's
Like,
Fury is a
if-
serious underdog here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But and there's so much chance for this to be a recency bias. Bowser's Fury does not rehash things the way that Odyssey does.
Right.
Like
Well,
Bowser's Fury,
that's
I feel
largely
like
because Bowser's Fury is a lot
it's
smaller.
so
right?
short. Yeah, it's such a tiny game. And so but like I could sit down right now and replay Bowser's Fury, 100%ing it, and have a good time. I can't say that about Odyssey. Odyssey has I will never 100% Odyssey again. I just don't think that would be fun.
So yeah, I mean, obviously Bowser's Fury has it in the replayability sorry, I can't talk. Replayability category. But I will ask you, like, the first time playing each of these games, which one left a stronger impression on you?
Bowser's Fury.
I did not play either of them.
I
Okay.
will say Bowser's Fury left a bigger impression on me because it was so much better than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Odyssey gets a lot of points though.
Mario
for having-
Odyssey is just like sheer joy packed into a video
Yeah,
game.
it
That's how I
has
would
a
describe
world.
it. Yeah.
Bowser's Fury is amazing, but it does not have a world. Like there
Like,
are
if
no.
you took happiness and made it into a video game, it'd be Mario Odyssey, honestly.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
there's an argument to be made. I don't want Bowser's Fury to get left out here because it is a serious contender for the best Mario game ever made, and I think that the only reason it's not fair to move it forward is because it is so small. I think Odyssey
Yeah.
beats it for that reason because it is a side game.
it is a side game, but like and like we said before, like a lot of people saying that maybe this is Nintendo trying out new ideas, like maybe the official next 3D Mario game that takes ideas from Bowser's Fury will end up being the unquestionable best 3D Mario. But for now, I think Odyssey needs to go on.
Okay, I can concede that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, so that's the quarterfinals done, right?
Yep. So we're on to semifinals, and this, well, we're up to New Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario World, and I gotta tell you, New Super Mario Bros. You had a good run.
Yeah,
Like,
had a good run.
you had a real
Of
good
all
run.
the
but
2D Marios, I think Mario World is quintessentially the best. Not even because it's first. It just was a dissolution of that
yeah.
era of Nintendo.
I'm not gonna say I think Super Mario Bros. 3 was better, but I think both of those are better than New Super Mario Bros. At their best. New Super Mario Bros. Super fun to play with your friends and all, but I have all of the New Super Mario Bros. Games. Oh, I don't have U anymore. I never am like, man, you know what I really want to replay? New Super Mario Bros. I always Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 3. Those are both my go-to 2D Marios to play. And I also will say, this is kind of not a fair. New Super Mario Bros. Games are just ugly. I hate that art style.
I will agree with that. They're not very aesthetically pleasing from what I've seen.
But whereas World is just gorgeous all the way through. And also, like, World has a lot of really... whenever I'm playing Mario Maker, which notably was not on this list because it's all user-generated content. But whenever I'm playing Mario Maker, when I see a Mario World level, I'm like, oh, cool. When I see a New Super Mario Bros. Level, I think, okay, we'll get through this.
We'll get through this.
I think that the New Super Mario Bros. Did a lot of interesting things, but so did Super Mario World, and Super Mario World looked good doing it.
Okay, this seems pretty definitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. So Super Mario World moves on to the finals.
Okay.
Now we pit Sunshine against Odyssey.
Oh Lord.
Really, this
Oh,
one's tough
man.
for you?
I mean, my pick's Odyssey, but
My pick's Odyssey.
Yeah.
I love Super Mario Sunshine. I love it to death. Odyssey was way more fun.
I guess I got outpicked. Man, I was going to pick Sunshine.
Really? You think Sunshine is the best 3D
Mike
Mario?
Mike hasn't played Odyssey.
I haven't played Odyssey.
Oh yeah, okay, that'll do it.
Yeah. So,
I think there's a case to be made for Sunshine here. If you really, so Sunshine was carried this far for me in large part by its atmosphere,
I agree with that.
and it does beat Odyssey on atmosphere.
I also agree with that.
But Odyssey does everything else so much better.
Yeah, and I think there is a case to be made
maybe
for the music. Like the Delfino Plaza theme is so iconic, I think. Like I can recall it right now if I wanted
Yeah,
to.
but is it as good as Jump Up Superstar?
It's not. It's
yeah.
that song that was a definitive like gaming moment. Like when that song happened and like you were just running through and the celebration was happening in New Donk City, that was
Yeah.
sublime.
Yeah,
Like
it is. I mean, I've replayed it enough times. I hear you.
yeah, so yeah, I mean like obviously not to take anything away from Super Mario Sunshine, but like Mario Odyssey is like if someone came up to me, I think I feel comfortable saying this now. If someone came up to me and was like, "I've never played Mario. What should I play?" I would just hand them Odyssey.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I don't
granted,
know.
like
would
I
start
haven't played
people-
any of the 2Ds. So.
Yeah, I would probably start people on 2D Mario, but
But like I don't know, like younger gamers nowadays, like they have a natural, like a lot of people have a natural aversion to 2D because they associate that with older games. So I feel like to the uninitiated, I'd be like, here's Odyssey. And if you like this, there's some other stuff too.
yeah.
But that's not what we're here to discuss. I do think, Odyssey is overall a better game than Sunshine.
Yeah. I agree with that. And
Man, I hurt.
yeah.
We've all been hurt at one point in this thing. We just have to suck it up.
We have all three been critically
Yes.
wounded here. I don't know that any of us will actually super feel like the winner deserved it at this point.
You
No,
know,
I mean, like,
actually, I feel like
it-
it too.
If I was doing this bracket, this would be 64 versus Odyssey right now. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
What was
we
that,
already
Mike?
Had that fight.
Yeah, Odyssey would beat 64 for me easily.
Odyssey would be 64. Yeah,
Not
64 is
No
jank.
contest. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess
Ready?
we move on, we move
The
Odyssey
finals?
on to our finals, right?
Yeah, and I feel like this will largely be you deciding, Connor, because Mike and I both lack a piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah.
But
So
we
we're
definitely
sitting
give some
here.
input.
We've decided that the best 2D Mario game of all time is Super Mario World, which that tracks, I feel that. And we've decided that the best 3D Mario game of all time is Super Mario Odyssey, which I probably would have told you before this as well. But which one of
Honestly,
those is better?
I will just
Honestly-
interject before you deliberate. If I were to guess before this, I would guess that Galaxy had just as much of a chance as getting to the finals as Odyssey.
And I think Yoshi's Island. I think me picking Super Mario Bros. 3 over Yoshi's Island. I think Yoshi's Island would have had a good chance of beating World.
But that's not what happened. So
That's not what happened. Here we are.
these two games that we have, Super Mario World and Super Mario Odyssey. What are your
And-
thoughts, Connor?
I mean, it just brings me back to the reason we didn't want to do 2D Mario and 3D Mario in the same episode for rankings. They're such colossally different experiences.
They are different.
Like,
They're completely different.
Yeah.
They're not comparable in any way, really. It's
No.
just, I guess you have to decide what the better game is overall.
yeah, I mean, if you like running and jumping, you're gonna like World. If you like collecting, you're gonna like Odyssey. Ooh, I think I gotta go.
So before you say, obviously I'm going to vote for Odyssey because that's what I'm familiar with. Mike's going to vote for 3D or Super
Mike,
Mario
would you
World.
vote for World? Is that what
I'm
you would
assuming.
vote
I
for?
would put it for World. Yeah, World is like when you think of 2D Mario, World is always in that discussion.
It is the first thing I see in my mind's eye. I mean, Super Mario World is the first game I ever played. This was my introduction to video gaming.
Mhm. Yeah.
And like 2D platform, like I make video games now, and 2D platformer is like the thing I like making the most. And you'd be out of your mind to think the World is not a big reason for that. Ugh.
You put this evil on yourself, Connor. You wanted to do this.
I did want to do this really bad. I did not, when I came up with the idea, I did not think that the finals would be all up to me, though. This is so much pressure.
Yeah. Okay, let's start listing out some comparison points like we did for the other games, right?
Yeah, I want you guys to both argue
So-
in favor of your pick for me, because I can't do this.
Let's just go bullet by bullet. Let's start with, I guess, levels, right?
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World.
Really? So, like, obviously, uninformed opinion here, but, I think back to the kingdoms in Odyssey, and granted, like you said, a couple of them are stinkers. They're, like, totally empty, unfinished,
Yeah,
whatever.
There are no stinkers in World, and also 2D level design is just so much easier to
But-
get.
Okay, let me ask you a question. In terms of level variety, like, does World surpass Odyssey?
I would say they're about equal.
Right, because like in Odyssey, obviously we have so many different kingdoms that
Yeah.
drastically differ.
But World also has
World
areas.
also has that.
Yeah,
okay.
World
Yeah.
has that, and it also has. I mean, on top of that, it's got the ghost houses that break it up. It's got the castles. It has the special world that's just crazy. It has the Forest of Illusions, which I always think of as being like the most creative thing, which was a an entire area where if you completed the levels normally, you would just keep going in a circle. You had to find the secret exits to continue to the next area. It had the sunken ship. It had. I mean, World just has all.
Okay, so in
everything.
terms
Yeah.
of levels / worlds, we're gonna give it to Super Mario Worlds, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like it. All right, mechanics, how Mario handles.
Gotta go Odyssey.
I mean, like I said this earlier in the episode, Odyssey's the best 3D Mario mechanically. Period.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's not even close. I think.
World is also just about perfect mechanically, but like I would never pick up World and just jump around for a while, but I would do that in Odyssey.
Yeah, and Odyssey, just the simple act of like platforming, deflecting off of walls, bouncing off of Cappy, like
Right.
just
and you can't-
doing that is fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
and
there
obviously
is
that's
a-
key
there
to
is-
a platformer, but Odyssey
is-
nails it. You know.
It's very fun to just grab the cape power up in one of the early levels and just fly around with it too in Super Mario World, but I'm still going to give the point to Odyssey, I think.
Uh huh. Okay. I mean, those are definitely the two most important considerations in a Mario game. So we can start
Yeah.
getting into like more niche categories now.
Music
I guess.
goes to Odyssey probably.
Okay. I mean,
Uh,
I'm not familiar with the music in the world, but
They're both really good, but
Both
I'm gonna,
really
give,
good.
Odyssey's music.
I'm gonna give it to Odyssey because there's not like a song that comes on that I get hype about in World.
Yeah. What about I guess visuals? I hate putting that even out there.
I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna do
visuals.
visuals.
You can't compare the two.
They're
Okay.
just
Yeah, let's leave that.
I'm not doing it.
What other? So I mean, right now, like just based off the criteria we had, right? Isn't Odyssey ahead?
Yeah.
But like, are there any
Odyssey
other
is
criteria?
ahead. Weirdly,
we wanna
Odyssey
judge
is
by?
ahead with the criterion we've listed, but it's made me lean towards World more.
Yeah, it's.
That's just the contrarian nature in you, Connor.
No, it's not. Because
I
I,
don't think it
came
is.
into this thinking I was going to pick Odyssey until we started talking. When you interrupted me, I was about to say Odyssey earlier.
That just goes to show, I think, on any different day, either of these would win, just
Yeah.
based off the discussion that's had.
I'm not going to call this a draw, though.
We have to pick something.
We're better than that.
So okay,
Yeah,
so
better than that.
I guess
I mean,
Connor, explain why you're leaning towards World now. What changed your mind?
Just like the level design, mostly, I would say.
Okay.
Like I sat there and I immediately thought like every moment I'm playing Super Mario World is like strictly designed to be extremely fun, whereas Odyssey does have like, I mean, it has Wooded Kingdom for one thing. I hate Wooded Kingdom. It has the Cloud Kingdom and the Ruined Kingdom, which are just kind of there. And it
But
just
the levels, it does have, like New Dawn
you have the
City
Lost
and like
Kingdom, you have
Mushroom Kingdom and like,
Well, Mushroom,
like
I am not gonna sit here and say that I think Mushroom Kingdom is well designed. I don't
I
really
mean,
agree with that.
that's just a nostalgia trip, right?
Yeah,
But, I mean, like we've got, I forget what the dinosaur one.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I
like
think I-
World
and
is
and
levels-
obviously like the Japanese imperial themed like Bowser level.
Yeah, I think I am gonna give it to Odyssey.
I'm gonna sway
Every
you
time
back
you
to
speak,
World
you change
again.
your mind, Connor.
What are you gonna say, Mike?
I mean, World had all these unique worlds that just kind of stuck out. Like Dinosaur Island was very diverse,
Yeah,
and there were
it is.
always these ways to move around it too. Like you didn't necessarily have to go the linear path. If you knew how to get through a ghost house, you could go off into a side and end up in what was it? The woods. What were they called?
Yeah, the power ups, the super secret.
And the switch palaces were always interesting.
Yeah, they were.
Like
They
a
changed
whole-
the levels up.
A whole world
I-
that was whole purpose was changing another level.
I've
Or
got
adding
my
new paths or power ups.
I've got my heart set on Odyssey now. I think I
So what changed your mind in the other direction then?
I just realized that Odyssey does have some of that 60 or that Sunshine worldness to it. And like it has more of a feeling of going on a journey, which obviously is a huge point of Odyssey, being called Odyssey.
Right.
And Super Mario World really is like you're sitting down, you're playing a video game, and it's really fun. Odyssey is just a little bit more than that, I think.
I agree with you in that it is more than that. I think, like, especially with like moments like, the climax of New Donk City and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
things like that aren't things you find in other Mario games at
Yeah,
all. Like in any other Mario game, I think.
I'm gonna give it to Odyssey though. Just knowing that if you ask me this tomorrow, there's no guarantee I would say the same
Right.
thing.
I'm willing
So
to call
after-
it a draw, not gonna lie.
I'm not calling it a draw. I won't.
No,
do it.
that's the coward's way out.
yeah.
But Yoshi,
But
Yeah,
Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Okay, so
Yoshi's, like,
after
the biggest
in-
kicker.
Yoshi's in Odyssey.
after
Yeah,
an
but Yoshi had
hour,
to walk in world to run in Odyssey.
That is
right?
true.
After an hour of discussion and deliberation, we here at the Game Talk podcast have determined that Super Mario Odyssey is the best Mario game ever made.
I'm still mad about it.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, and again,
I think this was a really fun bit too. This.
this was fun, and I firmly believe if we did this on a different day, we could probably come up with a different result, just because these games are that high quality.
Yeah, I mean, God, you guys know that I can't do a tier list. Like when we rank our like top 5 games, I'm always like, well, in no particular order.
Yeah.
I just don't have
that's-
an
we do the Final
That's what
Fantasies.
makes things spicy, Connor. You
Oh my
gotta
God.
you gotta order them. Like then that'll ruffle some feathers.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with ruffling feathers.
I mean, we're definitely ruffling feathers with this choice.
Oh
And
yeah.
our-
I mean,
the latest 3D Mario game is also the best one.
it's not the
like,
latest. 3D World is or Bowser's Fury is.
oh, right, but like you know what I mean.
And
The
Bowser's
whole
Fury was,
game.
I was a strong contender to pick Bowser's Fury over Odyssey.
And I, going into this, I thought maybe Galaxy would win all of it. Like I really thought.
What's
So-
so weird is if I had picked Bowser's Fury, then I would have picked World as beating it without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you, it's like it's
Yeah.
not as cut and dry as like it might, as like an official ranking. There's definitely some sort of rock paper scissors going on here.
Right. And I
So-
know, like, for instance, my brother has played all of these, and I'm pretty sure Super Mario Land 2 is his favorite.
Yeah. But on this day, with these people, with this discussion, Super Mario Odyssey won. So, congrats, Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so mad.
So, do we want to just dive right into games we've been playing and
Yeah.
try to take our minds off of the wounds we've suffered?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's just go over the wounds right before we go on. So, I do not like my wound is 64 being knocked out so early. Like that for me is
Yeah,
is,
it lost to Sunshine, right?
offensive.
In the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
That feels right to me. 64 is amazing, but it just,
it should
the
not.
things that it
I
did were just
firmly
done
believe
better.
it should not have lost
Yeah.
to Sunshine. But again, that's just my opinion.
Yep.
But okay, so yeah, what your offense, Mike, was the
I was
finals, right?
I was also took offense to Sunshine, but
Right. Oh yes, Odyssey being Sunshine, and then World losing to.
and Yoshi's Island losing first round.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I've
Mike.
had a lot
Mike
of-
got hammered this time, I guess. But
Yeah.
I
And then you, Connor, you're one of your contenders for the top. Mario Bros. 3 got knocked out.
it
pretty
got
early
knocked
on.
out early, and that hurt. Yeah, it got knocked out in the quarterfinals. Yeah.
Yeah, it got knocked
So-
out by it
So,
got
yeah.
knocked out by World, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was a messy process, but
It
we
was very messy.
we sort of came to a conclusion, which I think is the most important thing. We didn't cop out and say it's a tie.
Next we just do the
it's,
Final
it's a
Fantasy
16-way
games.
draw.
Final Fantasy games, gotta play them first before.
Yeah,
we
I have to play all the Final Fantasy games. Give me
but
10
but,
years. real
You know,
quick.
I had that idea in my head. I do want to like just play through all of them at some point.
You will get so like worn down by that.
I probably will. Yeah.
Because I have the same thing. I want to play through the Yakuza games, but I've seen a couple people trying to do that recently, and they're like, "Yeah, but I got so tired by the fourth one." And people are
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, these games came out years apart, and you're playing them all at the same time."
Yeah, I've also thought of that for the Yakuza series, but that's also daunting. Each one's like 40 hours.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
like 8 of them. Yeah.
But anyways, games we've been playing.
I
You want to go first?
Yeah, I kind of want to go first.
Okay.
Because I think me and Mike are also going to share one in a second here.
Yeah.
But the one I want to talk about is The Medium. Have either of you seen anything about this game?
Yeah, that's Xbox's new exclusive, right?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, and you play as this woman, Marianne, and she kind of exists in two realities at once, and that's like the core gimmick of the game. It's like a puzzle horror game, which, just as an aside, why do all horror games feel the need to be puzzle games? I've never understood that. Like, I get that you need to do something, or at least they used to believe that, but like the walking simulator genre exists now, and
I guess I don't know. Developers just feel more engaged designing
Nothing-
puzzles than walking simulators. Maybe
nothing
I don't know.
tears me out of a horror game more than spending 2.5 hours trying to figure out which keys to press on a piano to figure out how to get a door to open. Looking at you,
Oh.
Silent Hill.
God.
You do not want to play Resident Evil.
No, I don't. I have no desire to play it because I know it's going to be like that and I'll hate it. Anyway, you can kind of see where this review is about to go. I don't like this game.
Okay.
I think it is. I don't think the only thing I feel like it really has going for it is a strong art style. I really like the way the ghosts look. They're kind of morbid. Like, the ghosts look dead. Like, they don't necessarily look like the bodies looked when they were killed, but like they look kind of decayed and stuff.
Spooky.
And it is interesting to see like this setting in both like a very realistic modern way as well as like this spooky scary way in the other universe. But it just kind of, the controls are terrible. First of all, it feels awful to control Marianne, and sometimes I'll forgive a horror game for that if it's like if you kind of feel stumbly while you're running away. But this is like trying to line myself up to interact with something is unpleasant every single time. I hate it. It's not fun. I played this game for like 3 hours because I wanted to have a fair review for it at this point.
Yeah, your thoughts so far really sort of line up with the general consensus I've read about this game. So,
Yeah,
not really surprising.
I went into it expecting to like it. I had heard good things, and so I
Yeah.
was terribly disappointed. I also think the story is just boring. Like there's this little girl ghost named Sadness. Like, yeah, just hit me with a sledgehammer. Like, God.
So
And there's like as far as I can puzzle together, like this nurse went psycho and killed a bunch of people. Like, sorry if that's a spoiler. I'm only 3 hours into the game, but it just seems obvious that that's what happened. But they're acting like I'm unraveling this huge mystery. And I think there is more to it than that, but I just don't care. Like, it's just so boring. And it also, like, it tries to really tug on your heartstrings a few times. Like, the opening scene is you preparing your father for his funeral. I'm like, man, I never met this dude. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
showing Marianne, who I also know nothing about, crying, does nothing for me.
I honestly feel like there's this disconnect in some games between like, oh, this important character just died at the start of this, but you literally have no emotional connection.
Yeah,
I feel like they're intending it to be an emotional moment,
yeah.
but they really haven't put enough emotional investment at that point.
Yeah,
Because you literally just booted the game.
They could have spent 20 minutes at the beginning of the game making me like this guy and then killing him.
Like, that's just bad design. Like, at least Cyberpunk kills a main character after the prologue. That's not a spoiler, by the way, because you can see it in the trailers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he dies in the
So
trailers.
this
it
is
wasn't
actually a
spoiler.
very interesting discussion, and I kind of want to offer a point of a game that has a dead character at the beginning but executes it really well. Is God of War, I think, right? So
Yeah.
Kratos' wife / Atreus' mom is dead at the beginning, and the first several minutes of the game are spent just sort of mourning her. And I think, like on paper,
See,
that
yeah,
wouldn't really
that's
work.
not what this is.
Right,
It
okay.
tutorializes your ability to talk to ghosts by talking to your dead dad.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
It's just tacky. Like, it's just really bad. It's not, and it's not scary at any point. Like, it's clearly supposed to be a horror game, and I just can't stress enough how not scary this game is.
Is this a game that I can get the full experience of by watching it on YouTube?
Yeah, for
Okay, it's one of those games. I
And,
don't like games that do that.
Yeah, well, it's not worth. I mean, you can get the full experience by watching paint dry. It's just not a good
Oh,
game.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
No.
It's just,
This is
yeah. I'm not even gonna give this
savagery.
a rating because I don't want to sit here and like it's a functional game that works mechanically, so I feel like it deserves a 5. But even then, like, I could not recommend this game to anyone. There's no audio. Like, I don't care how desperate you are for a horror game. I don't think you're gonna get what you want out of this. It explains like every time a puzzle comes up, you're like you start looking at the pieces and you're like, oh, I'm gonna figure this out, and then it like Fi from Skyward Swords you like
Oh no.
it tells you the exact
Please
answer.
stop that. Okay.
Like it just colossally fails at everything it sets out to do, and that's sad because the only thing it does well, it does quite well, which is the art style, and I think the ghosts all look extremely cool, and like it's a little creepy sometimes. And like I did jump, it got me with some jump scares, but I like the jump scare was over, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll go back to doing this dumb puzzle that I don't care about. Like,
hmm
and there wasn't even like a build up to the jump scare. It's like there's no tension building. It just suddenly jump scares you once it
See,
lulls you.
I don't like that. That's cheap horror, right? Like,
Yeah, it's not even cheap horror. It's just like it's like opening a spam email. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. And I really I looked up this game afterwards because I was like, this must have been railed critically. And no, it did pretty. It got like 70s and 80s from critics.
Yeah.
I think
that
isn't it like
disconnect.
in the 70s on Metacritic?
It's a 72, yeah, which I think is
So,
way higher than it
You
deserves.
can
That's-
create
that-
a game that really pleases critics, but the average, say, like consumer, will just hate it. There's a lot of those.
Yeah, part
So,
of me
I mean,
thinks
I
that
think-
critics
I think-
might, and I feel bad
Sorry.
saying this because I don't hate games critics as much as like some people do, but I think game critics are inclined to really enjoy a game that is this easy to complete because it is their job to complete a game.
Yeah.
Like,
That
And
that definitely
so I
might
think
be a
there's
part of
something to be
it,
said
but
about that.
like that definitely might be a part of it. But like I will say that 73 on Metacritic is not a stellar score by any stretch of the imagination, right? Like
I guess, yeah, I guess.
I think I
guess-
think games
like-
are really sort of from my tastes and what I've seen on Metacritic. A game is usually good to me, like
It's 80.
80 plus, right? Like that every game that I've played that is 80 plus on Metacritic, or not every game, but like most games have been worth playing, I would say. And then when you go below that number, below that consensus number, then it starts getting more iffy and more like
Yeah.
based on taste and stuff.
But anyway, this game is bad. I sat down to play it more because I didn't feel like my 2 to 3 hours was enough for this like talk. I wanted to give it like a fair shake,
Mhm.
and I honestly couldn't do it. I could not pick up that controller to
I
play
mean, that's
it.
fair. And, like most games, I would argue that 2 or 3 hours is more than enough to form an
Yeah.
opinion. Like
Yeah,
if
it's not a
if
JRPG.
it magically gets better at hour 10, then I think that's a failure in the game design.
Looking
right.
at you,
Yeah.
Blade.
There's a lot of games that are coming, like horror games that are coming out that, especially indie, that are really good, and then you just have the bad ones. Like
Oh my God.
Phasmo was super good.
Yeah, Phasmo's good.
Because it
anything
created
by Kitty
tension.
Horror Show on itch.io. I'll plug her real quick. Kitty Horror Show does some amazing things. Play the game Anatomy if you really want to get scared.
Like
That game's
Phasmo did
terrifying.
horror right because there were jump scares, they were preceded by a general sense of unease.
Yeah. You've played Anatomy, Mike?
I haven't played Anatomy yet. I need to.
Oh, okay. It's stellar. And Phasmophobia also, like the fact that Phasmophobia can take a game where you're talking with your buds and scare all of you, I think that's
Yeah,
It's
that's impressive.
I'm desensitized to it, but I'm also almost 100 hours into the game.
Right. And
So-
I'm a difficult guy to scare, but like I still will sit here and tell you that Phasmophobia does a pretty good job.
It does a really good job of getting you off like your comfort zone.
There was a very long pause in that.
Phasmophobia does not get Mike off.
It does not.
I
Okay.
hope.
What else?
Scared.
What else have you been playing, Connor?
Well, I'll just jump into the other one with Mike, I guess. We've been playing a ton of it, not together, just separately.
together,
We've been
separate-
playing a ton
that's-
of Apex
That's
Legends.
dumb. Okay.
Yeah, we've both been. I jumped in because I had a group of friends jump into Apex Legends, and I'm like, might as well.
I did too.
And-
Yeah, it just kind of happened
Now I
that
can't
way.
stop playing it.
You know what's really weird? between last episode and this episode, I too played a little bit of Apex Legends.
Yeah, it's making
Well,
a really
well,
weird comeback. I don't know
it's-
why, but it's good. It's a good game. I liked it when it
It's
came
a
out.
good
I like it
game.
now.
Like, I don't think I've ever had a point of playing Apex lately. My third time trying to play Apex, where I've hated the game.
Yeah.
It
No,
just the gunplay feels good, the movement feels good, the audio is on point, except for maybe footstep audio. But I don't know. Maybe those people are playing with garbage headsets. I don't know. But it has this stress pattern that I like compared to like Valorant, where Valorant you're stressed an entire game. There are points in Apex where you're literally just I'm gonna curse here. You're bullshitting with your friends,
Yeah, I've always liked that
and then you're
about
stressed.
Yeah.
any battle royale other than like Fall Guys. I've always liked that there is downtime where you're just hanging out and holding down the fort, you know?
Yeah, you're just chilling,
Yeah.
or you're
I
waiting
do,
for a
yes.
fight to break out.
I do like that aspect of battle royales, and I will say for Apex, like I've ever, like when Apex first came out, I played it and I really enjoyed it. It's just that I'm not too big of a multiplayer guy, so I never really stick around for multiplayer games. But I fully
Yeah.
respect Apex. I think it's a
Yeah.
great game.
I think the thing that's really dragging me in right now is that they added a duos mode. And I don't know when that came out. That was probably ages ago.
I think it was ages ago.
But I never have two friends to play games with. So like I'd much rather just hop on with my one friend that I always play games with and do duos.
Like,
Yeah.
it's fundamentally a good game.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the guys who did Titanfall. I
Yeah.
think Titanfall 2 is one of the Titanfall 2 is probably my favorite multiplayer first person shooter in the past like decade.
I don't know. I think that goes to Battlefield 4 for me, but
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean
nice.
that's just a difference of what you like in a shooter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I do like Apex's movement. The sliding feels nice. The fact that you can kind of build up speed and all the movement abilities you get
yeah,
makes
it's
it
good.
really
What
fun.
legend do you play?
I usually play Loba.
Okay, I play
Kind of
Pathfinder
stinker.
almost only because I have a good skin for him.
I might be biased because I did spend $42 on the game.
Jeez.
I bought all the
okay, so
legends. I bought
that's
all the
another thing I
legends.
should point out. I have not spent a dime on this game, and I have an extremely good time playing it.
I
I even have some cool skins.
only spent money because I wanted all the legends. That was just a $42
Yeah.
purchase to get everything unlocked, which was like,
yeah, and I
okay.
think that's super fair because like I feel like this has the quality of a $60 game.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
not
don't
as
have to pay.
fair as like Smite's buy this $30 pack and get every single god we've ever released and will release in the future.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a good.
but it's there.
I don't think the monetization is bad in this game.
No,
Like-
it's way better than Valorant's. Like, I'm looking at skins in Apex, and legendary skins are what, $18?
Yeah,
Valorant, you're lucky to get a legendary skin for 24.
and like yeah, if you're playing with your friends, like you're probably only gonna buy one of those legendary skins because you've got your main, and like you're probably not gonna shake it up that often. Because like the legends are good and they add a bit of variety, but at the end of the day, it's your gunplay that wins you the fights.
Yeah. It's legends are very, unless you're playing, say, like a crypto or something. Like, I've won games off Crypto Bangalore.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I-
I have a whole clip about it. I'll probably post it in the
I should
Slack.
say I am bad. I have not won a game, and I've been playing it. I've been back at it for like a week or two, and I have not won a single round.
I
I've
have
gotten
won
second a few
2,
times,
I think.
but and it's also worth noting I'm doing this crossplay. My buddy's playing on an Xbox. They added crossplay to the game, and I believe some of the competitive players use a controller.
Yeah, it works fundamentally on keyboard and mouse, and it works on console.
Yeah, so I don't like feel bad. Like when I was playing Fortnite with people, when I would do crossplay, like I would feel bad for being on PC. I would feel like I should play on my Switch or something because they would be up against mouse and keyboard users. And in Fortnite, like that game's just not fair. If one of you has a mouse and keyboard, you can build faster. You have hotkeys and stuff.
Yeah, the nature of Apex as a kind of bullet spongy game where time to
Yeah.
kill is kind of low
Yeah, or high the time. to
or
kill.
high. It's a high time to kill.
Yeah,
It means that someone with a controller can react just as fast as someone with a keyboard, and they'll still be fine as long as you can get the jump of a controller. You can win.
it's also very largely a tactical game. Like,
Yeah.
but the thing that decides who's going to win a gunfight for me usually is not who sees who first or who shoots first. It's who's in the better position at the start
Yeah.
of the fight.
Who's in a better position and who uses their ult, right? Like a crypto ult can change a fight drastically.
And also,
Suddenly
who's-
having half your shields is massive.
Knowing when to run away is super
Yeah.
important as well.
Knowing when to go in and knowing when to not go in is very important. Like playing passive, Apex punishes passive. Like playing
one
super
thing-
passive, you're not going to succeed.
Right, you have to hunt people down because you will not have the equipment to win at the end if
Yeah.
you don't.
You just have to know when to fight and when not to fight. If
It also almost like
just
it almost like Doom Glory Kill style rewards you for killing people because when someone dies, you can pick up their shield, and when you steal another person's shield, that shield is full.
also it has a Doom Glory Kill slash system where if you perform a finisher, you get full shields.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I thought the finishers. Just
It
were-
is very handy in a firefight to
that's
kinda
huge. God, this
down
game's
someone
huge.
inside, finish them, and then fight their friends because you now have full shields and their friends don't.
I will
it's-
say, like,
Amazing.
off the top of my head, the only part of Apex Legends design that I don't care for is the way the guns are like named, I guess is the word. It is not immediately clear when you look at a gun in Apex Legends what it's going to do. Like there's a bunch of different ammo types. It's usually pretty clear what ammo type it's going to use, but like it just, I mean, the quality of the gun is not like when you play Fortnite, the guns all are color coded for how good they are. Whereas when you play Apex Legends, there are guns that are better than others, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I've had just as much success with a flatline as I have with the R301s. It's all down to preference. Do you like the Volt or
But
do you like
that
the
doesn't
R99?
change. Like when you're a new player jumping in, there's no way to be like, oh, I typically like this sort of gun. Is that what this is going to be? Like it just doesn't feel clear to me.
Like I like
But that's
the
not
variety.
bad. You just have to play for a little bit to get past that.
Yeah, I like the variety of guns. Like every match, I could pick up a different loadout and do just as fine. Like
Yeah,
I still have
also
my
like that
favorite,
there's almost
but
like a roguelike style risk versus reward system because most of the guns by themselves are not very good. You have to like grab accessories to make them better. And like you may pick the gun you like less because you have better accessories for it. That has happened to me a few times, and that's been the right call, and it saved me.
there are a few guns that in the game that I can say I don't like using, but I don't hate them.
Yeah, I really like. So like what I'm thinking of right now when I say what I just said about accessories, the Havoc gun I think is terrible unless you can get a hop up for it. that
Yeah,
makes
unless
it
you get the
fire faster.
turbocharger.
Yeah, if you can get the turbocharger, then suddenly the Havoc is one of the best guns in the game.
It's
Without it, it's one of the worst.
it's all based around looting, and I like that.
And there is no reason to ever pick up a Mozambique.
There, hammer points.
I hate the Mozambique. I don't care what you put
Oh.
on.
Those hammer
I hate
points shred health, though.
But yeah, it's a good game.
It's a
I'm having a
very
good
good
time
game.
with it. The crossplay is super fun.
Okay, Mike.
That's what I've been playing.
Apex.
That was
okay.
it.
Yeah, that was a
All
shared
right.
one.
So I have two games that I want to share. One's an old game that I have played before, and one's a brand new game. And the old one, I guess I'll go first. I've been playing Demon Souls on PS5. I've basically been doing my New Game Plus run, and I will say that like in terms of like New Game Plus from a FromSoft game, like I don't remember it being as difficult as this is. Like I'm getting one-shotted before by enemies that I took out easily in my first playthrough. So I don't know if that's a me problem or like maybe I'm just like underleveled or something, but like I'm finding this very difficult, and I was not expecting it to be that difficult on New Game Plus. But other than that, not much else to say. I mean, Demon Souls is great. I still think it handily has the best single like world that FromSoft has ever made in the Tower of Latria. I think across all FromSoft games, that one particular level is untouched still. But yeah, Demon Souls from Software, great game.
Sounds
Now,
right.
I have been playing with a couple of my friends. I've been playing Diablo 3. So I have never played Diablo prior to this. And I know that's like a huge omission from like my gamer cred or whatever you want to call that. Have either of you guys played Diablo before?
I played Diablo 2 just a little bit.
Yeah. So I will say at first I didn't really get it, right? Like there was like some nonsensical story. Like, I was watching these cutscenes. It was just like generic fantasy nonsense. Like I don't care about the story at all. And at first, I was just like, like I don't care about the story. Like it's just all about like killing things. Like even the quests and stuff all revolve around killing things. And at first, I wasn't too impressed, but then it sort of clicked, right? Diablo 3 is the most loot-driven game I have ever played.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That is the whole point. Like the whole point is to get better loot, skill up, and like get loot that like complements your skills, level up.
I feel like
and,
it
repeat.
It probably really scratches the MapleStory itch for you. The big numbers.
Yeah,
please.
that's the comparison I was going to make. Like MapleStory and Diablo are weirdly similar in that like it's the whole point is to just level up, get better gear, and do more damage so you can level up, get better gear, and do more damage. It's this endless cycle that's very addicting, I will say. Like it's and the numbers, you know how MapleStory's numbers are extreme? Like you're hitting like thousands at like level 10 or whatever. And then like eventually you're hitting like millions and tens of millions. Diablo's way more extreme than that. I think my cousin, like, so I'm already level 70, which is the max level, and that's kind of where the game really starts in terms of like the loot you get and stuff. And my cousin's been playing way more than me, and I think he's already like hitting billions. Like,
yeah, that makes me think of Noito, where I'm like, a billion damage a second. That's pretty good, but I can pump those numbers up.
Yeah, and it's just like once my like mindset shifted to where I was like, it sort of clicked to me that like, oh, okay, the loot and progression is the point, sort of like MapleStory. And then I found Diablo 3 to be really great, right? So like, I've got a monk character. He's level 70 with like, I think, with like Paragon level 30 or whatever, which is like the sort of like prestige levels, right? It's like you level after you hit the cap. And it's just a blast to play, man. Like I don't really know how else to describe it. It's just like you're just constantly mowing down hordes of enemies. And I will say the more you play the game, like the further you get into the game rather, the more mechanically interesting the fights become. Like at the beginning you're just like wailing on things and destroying them, like spamming your skills over and over again. But now like the fights can get a little technical even, right? Like each character class has some form of like advanced movement skill. I've got like teleport on my monk. So like these boss enemies that have like these area of effect attacks and like these complicated attacks, I'm like teleporting around and attacking like in one place, and then I like teleport and like do a skill here to like slow this guy, and like it's getting quite mechanically interesting too as I play. And the sheer like build variety is kind of staggering too. Like there's so many different permutations of skills you can learn and passives you can have equipped, like which really cater to like all sorts of play styles. Like there's a lot of freedom of like in how you play the game, in how you spec your character, right? Like, and you can respec at any moment. So it's extremely fluid. If you want to try out a completely different style, you can do that. So yeah, Diablo, first experience with Diablo, and I'm having a great time, and I can't wait to get back to it.
Yeah, you're making me want to retry Diablo 2 because I really didn't get past that beginning like kind of mashy part of the game.
Yeah, like I will say I
bounced off of it.
I was not too into it for the first couple hours or so. And I will say I think it helped having like friends to play with and stuff. But like when the loot cycle really starts going, and then you start getting like these legendary items that have like unique effects, and then like you start getting like set bonus items and stuff like that give you crazy like buffs and stuff like that, it really sort of gets addicting, I think.
I might wait until the remake comes out. There's a Diablo 2 remake coming real soon, and I might give that a shot. Did you see, it's actually interesting, you can import your old Diablo 2 character into the remake.
That's cool, I didn't know that.
Which makes me wonder, like, how many people, like, why would you want to do that? Like, do you think they're adding, like, a bunch of new loot that's going to be worth getting? Like,
I mean, I think just, like, it's just... You just want to continue that character, right? Like, as far as I can tell, there's no limit in Diablo, right? Like, there is a limit in MapleStory.
Dangerous.
Right? Like, you hit level, like, 250 or 275 or whatever. Yeah. Like, obviously, you can get better gear and stuff, but there is sort of a limit, right? And I could be wrong, because I'm still relatively, like, a Diablo noob.
Yeah, how many hours would you say you have in this?
Maybe, like, 15 to 20.
Okay, so you got to max level pretty quick then.
Yeah, like okay, so let me fully confess. I got to like level 30 some or something, and then like my cousin got way more addicted than me, and he was just playing nonstop, so he was like godlike after a few days. And then like he just like I basically just went into this place with him, like
Oh,
this
you got
super
power
high level
level,
area,
yeah.
and he just like leeched me to 70.
That's kind of lame.
Well,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I would
I actually-
argue no, I would argue that you want to get to 70 as quick as possible because that's really where the game starts,
Hmm.
I think. So
See, this may be stupid, but I actually kind of like the story of Diablo 2.
really, like I could not roll my eyes harder at the cutscenes in Diablo 3.
I
Like,
think it's really lame and stupid, but it's lame and stupid in a way that I was like, oh yeah, this is cool.
like before long, I was just skipping everything, just like Maple Story. Like I was like, okay,
oh
just-
yeah, but you and I are totally different there too, because I love the stuff
God.
in the story.
I can't even imagine that. Oh, okay, yeah, but
It's funny
yeah,
that you
no.
and I like these same games, but like for totally different reasons.
yeah, like I'm really sort of partial to the whole like, power fantasy / like loot grinding and stuff like that. Whereas you're there for the atmosphere and the vibes.
Yeah. I mean, you can hear it in like all of our Mario discussion too. Like vibes are so huge to me in a game.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's basically all I have to say about Diablo 3. I'm enjoying it, and I'm really sort of at the point now, like at level 70, where I'm getting like these crazy items and really sort of impact how I play and change my play style completely, and that's kind of exciting. That's it for me though. And I think
Well,
that'll
We did a
Wrap us
doozy of
up.
an episode here, I'd
Yeah.
say.
yeah, I mean that Mario discussion really took a while. I think that
We only
was
missed
an hour
Mario
and 10
Day.
minutes.
Yeah, we only missed Mario Day by one day. Yesterday was March 10th.
That's true, yeah. But this
Yeah.
episode won't come out for a couple weeks because I still have to put out last week's episode,
Well, it'd be like
the
that.
Pokemon episode, yeah.
We do our best.
But eventually, you all will hear this and be angry at our decisions. All right, so that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you guys for listening. You can catch us at @podcast Game Talk on Twitter. Please like, rate, and review us on any podcast service you use. Click the link in the description of the podcast to join our Discord and talk to us there. Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yep. See you guys next week. Let us know what your Mario pick would have been.
Yes,
see
do
you
let
guys next week.
us know
if
that.
you guys want to just take if Amit includes the bracket, if not, we could put it in the Discord. If you guys want to edit an image of what your picks would have been,
Yeah,
I would love to look at them.
Yeah, that's a fun idea. All right, see you guys next time.
See you.